The UAW updates, and I want to deep dive into the electrification of autos and how Elon Musk is winning and leveraging the UAW strike against them, even though he's telling them that he's doing it right to their face. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock out.
Good afternoon, UAW family. It's happened again. Moments before this broadcast, we have had a major breakthrough that has not only dramatically changed negotiations, but it's going to change the future of our union and the future of our industry.
This happened on Friday, so every Friday, Shawn, Fain, president of UAW, comes through and he gives an update on what the negotiations are and whether or not they're going to strike and hit another plant.
We were about to shut down GM's largest moneymaker in Arlington, Texas.
This dude sounds, honestly, he sounds just like a terrorist. We were about to shut down GM's largest moneymaker in Arlington, Texas. That does not sound like a partner, honestly. That does not sound like a partner. That sounds like somebody that's absolutely positively a terrorist, in my opinion. That does not sound like somebody that wants the best for the company and themselves. In order to be a partner with somebody, you got to want best for them just as much as you want best for yourself. You can't just talk negatively like that. But let it play out for a little bit and let y'all see what's happening.
The company knew those members were ready to walk immediately. And just that threat has provided a transformative win. GM has now agreed in writing to place their electric battery manufacturing under our National Master Agreement. We've been told for months that this is impossible. We've been told the EV future must be a race to the bottom. And now we've called their bluff. What this will mean for our membership cannot be understated. The plan was to draw down engine and transmission plants and permanently replace them with low-wage battery jobs. We had a different plan, and our plan is winning at GM.
See, this is so bad because that's not true. Specifically what Mary Barra did and what they've been trying to do as far as making sure that they kept manufacturing here in the United States of America, not just because GM was a good company, but also because they were being incentivized by the Biden administration in order to continue to build here in America, especially since you got the semiconductor chip industry starting to come here and bloom down in Texas. But what they've done was they started having in-house manufacturing, especially instead of outsourcing everything. And so now that they know that internal combustion engines are going away, they've been trying to bring in more work by doing research and development and doing in-house development, which costs them a lot of money and billions of dollars in order to invest in. And then now they're going to invest those into these plants specifically. But this is I can't believe that y'all getting finessed and y'all getting told this as a rallying cry. General Motors had already from the outset, and I actually played it a couple weeks ago, where Mary Barra said literally that they've brought manufacturing, specifically they're looking to manufacture electric batteries and vehicles and platforms here in the United States of America in order to transition a lot of these plants and a lot of these people and the UAW members over into these facilities, so that even though it's going to cost them significantly more in the front loading in order to make sure that they do the research and development and all of this other type of stuff, that people wouldn't just automatically get laid off or have natural attrition because they're no longer needed as far as the amount of parts as being able to or that's needed to be made with regard to regular internal combustion engines. She already said this a long time ago. It's going to be a race to the bottom. That doesn't even make sense, man.
And we expect it to win at Ford and Stellantis as well. So today, we're going to give you some updates on the state of bargaining. If it wasn't clear already, things move fast. It's hard to give an update that won't be obsolete by the time the update's done. So here's a snapshot and a punchline. Here's the snapshot. GM has been falling behind.
Can y'all not tell that this dude is reading off of a teleprompter and reading based off of notes that's already been given to him? He's reading. This is not just an authentic conversation. He's actually reading this to you guys.
Today, under the threat of a major financial hit, they leapfrog the pack in terms of a just transition. And here's the punchline. Our strike is working, but we're not there yet.
Are y'all really going for this, honestly? Are y'all seriously going for this? Are y'all really taking these marketing tactics and cues with the shirt that say to eat the rich and y'all taking this at face value? Please tell me y'all not this naive. It doesn't mean that he may not be working in y'all best interest or not or whatever, but please tell me y'all not this naive. Our strike is working. He sounds just like Biden. He sounds just like the politicians on the trail. Honestly, he sounds just like the politicians. Speak to me from your heart. Tell me what's going on. Talk to me like we in a town hall. Don't read to me from a teleprompter. Just tell me what's going on. Don't give me any prepared marks. Just write it down in a quick outline, whatever it is that y'all got going on, and then let's run it up, right? Come on, man.
Everything we've done to this point has been with one goal in mind: to win a record contract that reflects the Big Three's record profits and the historic sacrifices our members have made to generate those profits. We've been very public about our demands and about our expectations.
All right, I'm going to move on from this. Let me tell y'all another thing. Do you want to know what I believe that the strategy is as to why it is that they're doing these rolling strikes? You want to know why they didn't strike just all across the board? It's because the UAW is trying to protect. They're trying to protect the piggy bank. What is the piggy bank? The piggy bank is the amount of money that they have put up in reserve that they need as an investment, but instead they're starting to dole it out in strike pay. So if every last one of these employees, they struck across the board, and then they said, okay, but we got to pay $500 a week to every single employee, it would absolutely positively cripple the UAW. See, they sell this to you guys. They sell this to you guys as though, oh man, we're going to roll it out strategically. You don't think that GM and Ford know what the heck is going on? You don't think that they paying attention, that they're not aware, that they're not situationally aware, that they wasn't prepared for this a long time ago? You don't think that they're doing these rolling strikes so that they can make sure that they minimize the amount of money that they have to pay out as far as strike pay? They're not doing it because they're just ratcheting up the pressure on them. They're doing it because they have to protect what it is that they got stored up as far as union dues that you guys been paying every single pay period for the entirety of the time that you're working for these companies. You know that your benefits and some of your healthcare coverage, especially for retirees, is all based off of UAW, right? It's based off of a piggy bank that they got. Let me move on from this. So let's talk about Elon Musk. Let's talk about why Elon Musk is going to continue to win, why I continue to increase my position in Tesla, why I believe that you guys should be more strategic in what it is that you're increasing your. I'm not telling you what to invest in. I'm just telling you what it is that I invest in. Let me tell you why I've increased my position in Tesla, and I've literally divested myself way before this strike ever happened from any of the big three automakers. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Tune in. Make sure you hit that Patreon link. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat.
The United Auto Workers Union, the nation's largest auto union, voted to authorize a strike.
The union expanding the walkout across the country.
We're talking nationwide, California to Pennsylvania.
More than 25,000 union workers are striking the plants of the big three Detroit auto manufacturers. And the intensity and nature of the strikes are unlike any other in recent American automotive history. The United Auto Workers have made a list of demands even UAW President Shawn Fain calls audacious. Industry analysts estimate.
Now let's put that in perspective, right? I just did a little bit of math for y'all. So 25,000 workers. If 25,000, now imagine over 100,000 workers. But let's say 25,000 workers are striking at the equivalent of $500 per week in strike pay. That's $12 million $12,500,000 a week. That's how much it costs the union. 25,000 workers. 25,000 workers at $500 a week on strike is $12,500,000 a week that it would cost the union. If you want to know what 100,000 workers is, it's times it times 4. $50 million a week. It would cost the union $50 million a week in strike pay if all of the workers or 100,000 workers were on strike at the same time. Is the math mathing out for y'all? Is the math mathing for now for y'all? Now do you understand why it's important for us to break everything back down to the numbers? Because it's not just fighting for a fair wage or whatever. You need to understand all of the context and all of the strategy that come along with why they're doing it. It would cost them $50 million a week for 100,000 people to strike, and they got even more people than that in the UAW. Now, they've guaranteed y'all strike pay. How do you think that plays out with you? Let me go ahead and continue this.
Meeting the union's demands would bring all-in hourly labor costs to $150 per worker, more than double what they are today.
What Shawn Fain has done here is thrown out the playbook.
The UAW claims the workers who have helped the Detroit Three bring in $250 billion in profits over the last decade should have a share of it.
It hurts everybody. It hurts our employees. It hurts the communities where these plants are.
There's no way we can be sustainable as a company. You want us to choose bankruptcy?
Some industry analysts claim that while this all keeps happening, the big winners are the non-union automakers, like Tesla. Even CEO Elon Musk seems to think the demands could bankrupt the Detroit.
I think that when you look at it as an investor and you look at these companies, because I look at it from a completely different lens, profits are going to drop significantly. I don't think that they'll be able to continue to innovate and drive money into research and development. I think that Elon Musk already has a huge lead and he's going to get a bigger lead. The F-Series is, for 46 years straight, has been the number one selling vehicle in America. The Tesla Model Y, for multiple different quarters in a row, has now become the number one selling vehicle in the world. And now I think that Elon Musk is just going to continue to out-innovate these people. And then you got competition from the Chinese automakers that we're not taking into consideration. And then last but not least, you still have European and Japanese automakers. And then the Koreans is doing what they're doing over there. If I've decided to divest myself from the traditional automakers altogether, as much as I hate to say that, because I love to be an investor in my own hometown industry. And I've reaffirmed and continued to reposition myself to go even further into Tesla because of what it is that I see happen in a day. Look at this from an investor's perspective and not from a worker's perspective.
3.
You know, the UAW would probably say it's a race to the bottom, but it is a race to make electric vehicles profitable, and Tesla is doing that, whereas the likes of Ford are not.
The three Detroit automakers, General Motors...
We all know why they're striking. Let's move over into something else.
Off guard. The timing is not great. Companies are trying to shift to EVs while fending off competition from both foreign and homegrown companies.
The UAW, over the past 4 years, has watched the automakers make record profits. They also don't live in a bubble. They've seen many of their union brother and sisters get record contracts. That includes double-digit increases at John Deere, not to mention FedEx, which isn't the UAW, but they've been watching other unions just get paid and paid and paid, and now they believe it's their turn.
So
they're part of the Me Too movement. I get it. Let's continue.
Nothing. According to the automakers, agreeing with the terms would threaten their very existence. While many foreign companies like Toyota, Nissan, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and Volkswagen use organized labor in their home countries, they don't in their US factories. Neither do many of the up-and-coming electric car makers like Rivian and Lucid, following Tesla's lead.
And we ain't even talking about Rivian, but let's continue.
As of right now, it appears Tesla will be a winner in all of this. And we're not necessarily talking about EV market share. Tesla already dominates that. What we're really talking about is actual labor costs. And Tesla's labor costs, we're talking all in, bonuses, wages, healthcare, everything, is estimated to be about $45 to $50.
Industry.
So Tesla, right now, the big three is about a little bit more than $75 an hour when it comes to the total compensation cost that comes along with manufacturing vehicles. Tesla, all in, is at about $45 an hour, but they're out innovating these guys, and they're a technology company. $45 an hour versus $150 an hour, and Tesla's margins per vehicle is significantly more, and they're continuing to innovate and reinvent how it is that they're then deploying all of these resources in order to streamline the manufacturing process and replace people with robots. And then on top of that, I don't know if you guys follow Tesla News. I look at Tesla News every single day. Even the frames and the bodies that they're building is with less parts. Even the way that they compensate their employees is more innovative. Their employees is compensated the same way that white collar workers are compensated. They get equity in the company in the form of bonuses, which also incentivizes them to have a interest in the success of the company. It has an interest in the success of the company. So when you start to take all of these things into consideration, right? What I'm telling you is that Tesla wants them to strike. They want them to continue to strike. They're destroying their competition. They're literally killing themselves out of a job.
Estimates of all-in per employee per hour costs are far lower at Tesla than at any of the big three automakers. This is partly because Tesla is non-union. Its costs are also lower than those of foreign counterparts also running non-union factories.
Any kind of increase in the hourly rate, the benefits, is really going to kind of increase the gap between GM, Ford, Stellantis, between Tesla and the foreign automakers such as Toyota, Nissan, and others that have kind of been coming here and building EVs now.
From day one.
Somebody said Tesla needs to pay them better. Says who? Their employees ain't complaining. They rejected unionization from the UAW. If they felt like they was losing, then why they reject the UAW? Why did they reject the unionization efforts over at the majority of Tesla factories?
When they start talking about spending more, Elon wins because Tesla is cheaper to make cars over there for those electric vehicles.
And I mean, when you talk about kind of a disadvantage for electric vehicles, it's not just Tesla, it's not just the transplants, it's actually the newcomers such as Rivian, Lucid, and the automakers know this. They don't have the legacy costs that the D3 have.
Already, Tesla controls about 60% of the electric vehicle market and has slashed prices considerably throughout 2020.
And they control 60% of the emerging vehicle market, meaning not the legacy market that's going away, not the market that's continuing to reduce itself, but the market that everybody is eventually adopting. They control over 60% of the vehicle market. They're actually the ones that's the only company that's competing with EV makers over in China, which is booming over there. Booming. But then I will also tell you that Tesla has a vested interest in seeing the union fail over here. Let me tell you why else. Here's the biggest reason. Forget all of this. Let me just give you the game. One of the reasons why Tesla also wants the union to absolutely positively destroy the big three, not enough to where it drives them out of business, but enough to where it severely wounds them, is so that they can then show their members when unionization efforts continue to show themselves over at their plants, and they can say, look, they unionized themselves right on out of a job. You have opportunity here. Over there at the Texas factory that they building down in Austin, they say that they have over 60,000 jobs that they're trying to ramp up to. 60,000 jobs. They're adding jobs. Meanwhile, Chrysler, GM, and Ford is just trying to keep jobs. I couldn't stand a union when I was down there. And maybe it's just because inherently I just looked at everything from a business perspective. But I absolutely, positively couldn't stand a union. The unfortunate part is that the big three still has additional legacy costs that come along with, which GM should has less of because they filed for bankruptcy, GM and Chrysler. But they have legacy costs that come along with doing business here in the United States of America and having a union on their back for the extended amount of time. And these people feel as though they're owed something instead of you get what it is that you put into it. They were happy when the big three reinstated profit sharing checks because that then meant that y'all had a vested interest in seeing these companies successful. But eventually that'll go away too. My point is this. When you're looking at it from an investor's perspective, you're going to have a completely different set of criteria than you looking at it from a worker's perspective. I need all of y'all to step outside of your comfort zone and start to look at it from an investor's perspective instead of looking at it just from a worker's perspective. If I'm an investor, me personally, and I'm not telling you what to do, I'm leveraging what it is that I'm doing in order to put more of my equity into Tesla, a growing technology company, than a legacy company like GM, Ford, and Chrysler, who is going to continue to get bent over. In the next bargaining contract, they're going to continue to bend over to these companies until they try to extract everything out of them, because the only way that they look at themselves is how they compare themselves to their total compensation over into the CEOs instead of how the CEOs make their money.